Good morning. This is Kelly Kelso, and welcome to Play, Pause, Learn. I am the Director of Innovation at Castleberry Independent School District, and we've put together this little series to share some strategies that you can use in remote learning, but you can also use in your regular classroom once you're back in the classroom. Today, I am going to be talking to you about PearDeck and the different things that you can do in PearDeck. And today I have two of our sixth grade math teachers with us. Good morning. Good morning.
Good
I
morning.
have Miss Madeline Alegria and Stephanie Crane, and they both have been using PearDeck. They were using it actually before we went remotely, so I wanted them to talk a little bit about how they're using it, and then we're going to hop in and look at how they are an actual example of how they've used it. Okay, ladies.
All right, so this is Madeline Allegre, by the way. I'm going to present my screen real quick. While she's getting that pulled up, I'll just give you a quick overview of how we've been using it. So we've been using it in online learning. The time we have a live class, we just have the students log in with the link, and it takes them right into it. And so we do during live class, we do an instructor pace PearDeck where the kids log in, but we have control over each slide as we're going through. We can tell them we advance their screen for them, so they're always with us. We have different forms of interactive slides, which we'll show you in just a second. And so we just go through each class like that. They respond on each slide however we've set it up. So we know that they're constantly with us, and we have the teacher dashboard also on screen for our cell phones, and we can make live feedback as they're filling in their slides. So if they're doing a math problem and they're maybe didn't add right or something, we say, hey, you need to check that calculation there. It looks a little off to me. And so we're able to give that live feedback to them during class. Another way that we've used it is as a student-paced assignment, where we're giving them the option that we're giving them choice boards during the week for them to use it, and say they could do a vocabulary or a PearDeck or Scout, and they get to pick. Well, a lot of them like the PearDeck, so they're using it a lot, even for their own choice. Mm-hmm. But go ahead, Maddie. Yeah. So I pulled up one of our PearDecks from this past week. So all of these slides are just regular slides that the students have no interaction with. They're just normal slides. When we get to this is actually a student response. So when they have it popped open, they're able to type in their answers. And this is great for remote learning because when we're able to see kind of the things that they remembered, but they're also able to get their thoughts out before having to speak out loud on camera. So this has them be comfortable. And then, let's see, we have another type of slide. This one's really cool. So this is like a drag icon slide. So they're able to drag these little symbols that we've made down here and drag them to wherever we need on the screen. This one's a drawing slide. So we had them, draw little X's through each side to represent an equation. So you can really customize anything that you want and have them be able to draw on it. This is usually kind of the things that they see that we have them do. We have our example on one side, and then they're able to work out on the other. Some kids like using the text feature, so they'll type in their answers. Others like drawing, so they draw it. And then this is a good one. So just at the very end, this is another fill in the blank like text one where they're able to type in, one important thing. And so we're able to get that feedback from them. And like Stephanie was saying, we weren't sure how the kids would respond to this. It's so different in remote learning, but probably and they're choosing to do this one, especially when we do choice boards and things like that.
And I love the way that y'all have represented solving equations in so many different ways to them, to the kids, and they're able to go in and be able to interact as you're going through they get to interact with you and you get to see immediately. And I'm going to be going in a little bit later and showing those that are watching today how you can look on the
Yes.
dashboard and see exactly how the kids are doing. So right there on the spot, you're able to go in and make any changes or recognize those kids that are struggling and need more help. So very, very good.
Oh, for sure. And
Yes.
presenting. We love to present
Oh,
their
yes.
answers too and show off the ones who did really
That
well.
is amazing. That is amazing. Well, I love what you're doing, and the minute I knew I was doing going to be having PearDeck as my topic, I thought, okay, that I've got to get back in and get Maddie and Stephanie in here to help me. So, guys, thank y'all so much for joining in this morning. I appreciate it. It's always wonderful to see what our teachers are doing with these, so I do appreciate it. Thank you so much. Yes.
Thanks for having
All
us.
right. So we are going to disconnected me. All right. Said it reconnected successfully. Okay. Thank you. Sorry about that. Little technical difficulties here. All right. So what I was saying, in case we were disconnected there, is that we're going to look at three things. We're going to look at how to set up PearDeck on your computer in Google Slides. We're going to also look at what it's like to be a student and how the teacher can watch the student. And then we're going to go through and I'm going to show you how easy it is for you to build your own PearDeck. This is something you can easily get built today, and you could use even tomorrow if need be. But for next week in your remote learning virtual classes, it will be a great time to be able to show those. So we're going to go in and we're going to look at PearDeck. And so, like I said, there's going to be a little bit of setup. Now, I would suggest as you're setting up here that you might want to split your screen here. You might want to put this video on one side of your screen and open up a browser on the other side. Of course, you're probably in a browser, so just open a new tab, but I would maybe split those on each side so you'll be able to follow me in the video and then be able to do these things on your own. The first thing that we are going to do is we are going to open PearDeck. Now we are, there we go. Now we're in PearDeck. So we're going to go into, you're going to click on Teacher Login, and you're going to want to make sure you log in with your Castleberry ISD Google. I'm already logged in with mine, but where it says to log in with Google, and then you want to use your Castleberry email. That way you will get the premium version. The free version does have some good things that you can do with it, but you do want to make sure that you are doing the premium version for the rest of this school year anyway. So I wanted to make sure you can get logged in here to PearDeck. We're going to come back to this towards the end and look at some things, but we want to make sure that we're able to get into PearDeck on the website. Because PearDeck is where you go in, and once you've done a PearDeck session, this is where you will go back and look. And right now we're in a live session, and so we want to make sure that we are able to get back into this later. So you want to make sure you've got that available. The next thing I want you to do is I want you to go to your Google Drive. So when you go to your Google Drive, take it just a minute to open up here. Once you're in Google, I want you then to go in and make a Google slide presentation. And if this is your first time to use PearDeck, or maybe it's not, but you're just wanting to learn some new things about it, we're just going to put here my PearDeck example. Whoops, and my page changed. Sorry about that. Jumped around a little bit. And we're going to create that so that we have our Google slide presentation. Now, once we are in our Google slide presentation, we need to make sure that we have our add-on. Now, I already have the the PearDeck add-on, but you're going to go right here where it says Get Add-on. And in the Get Add-on window, you are going to look for PearDeck. So you can come right up here to the search, type in PearDeck, and you're going to look for this symbol. When you find this symbol, you're going to click on it and you're going to say Install. All right, so now you should have that installed. So once you go to add-ons, you should be able to see PearDeck for Google Slides. And so let's see if, let me give you just a second and get that in. All right, so hopefully now you've got a Google Slide. You've been able to log into peardeck.com with your Castleberry Google email. And so now let's start looking through a few things that PearDeck will do. So I want to walk you through a couple of things. Types of questions. So Maddie and Stephanie showed us how they use the draw question a lot, but also they use where you could put in a number or you could put in text when they're writing at the end. But notice there's 6 different types of questions you can add here. And you can add these to existing slides. So if you already have a Google slide presentation, you're going to be able to just overlay this question type right on top of that slide. So there is a text slide where students type in their answer, a choice, which means it's a multiple choice type answer, a number where they type in a number, a website where it will take them to a website that they might need to log into to do something for you in your class. There's the drawing, and we saw the samples that they used in math in 6th grade for drawing, and there's numerous ways you can use the drawing slides. And then there's the draggable, where you can drag an icon around. And so we are going to look at each of those as a student here in just a minute. But the beauty of PearDeck is that they provide a lot of templates as well, and most of what I've used in this presentation today are from the templates that they have. There are lesson builders where you can put in slides that go at the beginning of your lesson, during the middle of your lesson, how to close your lesson. There are critical thinking slides of getting kids to think a little deeper on things that you're looking at. And then also there are templates for each subject. And I love those because now it even breaks it down to where if I'm a science teacher, it gives me specific slides I could use for science. There are math templates, there's ELA templates, and so we'll look through each of those whenever we get there, okay? All right, the next thing, and we heard Maddie and Stephanie talking about student-paced activities and instructor-paced activities. In an instructor-paced activity, this would be in your real time, whether it's a virtual class or even in a classroom when you're back at school. And the teacher-paced is where students will be on the same slide that you are on, and they cannot work ahead. However, if you switch it over to student-paced, so maybe you have 2 or 3 examples you want to work through with the students, then you want them to go to student-paced, you can flip right over to student-paced. And I'm going to show you here how easy that is to do on my slide because I'm in PearDeck. I'm presenting as a PearDeck slide. And so I get this toolbar at the bottom, and when I click these 3 dots right here, I turn on student-paced. And then once I get to student-paced, my students could then work through the slides and they don't have to wait for me to click. They also talked about in their choice boards that they used PearDeck as one of the choices, so students could do this as homework. And if they're going to use your PearDeck to do as homework, you're going to have to set it to student-paced. And to do that, when I click on Turn on Student-Paced, you notice that right here at the bottom, there is a link. And all you have to do is copy that link, paste it on that agenda in your Canvas course, and when the kids click on it, it's going to take them right into this PearDeck, and they're going to be able to work through it on their own, okay? So I'm going to take that out of student paste right now, but I wanted to show you the difference in the two because both are very powerful. It depends on how you want to use your PearDeck. So what we're going to do is we're going to move into what does it look like to, for a student, and I'm going to show you a little bit of what that is going to be, and then we're going to look at how to build these, okay? So I'm going to switch over to the student view, and give me just a second here. For some reason, my student view is not showing. Well, my goodness. Okay, well, I am going to have to just show you from here, and it's not going to be as good. I am so sorry. My system failed me earlier, and so now I'm having to go in, and I'm going to have to show you this a little bit different way, so I apologize. All right, so here we have our where we can ask students to drag and drop, and as a teacher, this is what I would see. As the student, I get a dot here, and notice it automatically changed me, and I can move this little dot around. But there also is something called the teacher dashboard, and I wanted to make sure and show you this dashboard. And it is not going to work. Okay, well, I'll just show you what the students see, and we'll have to look at the dashboard in a different, we'll have to look at it differently. All right, so going back to the teacher mode. There we go. All right, so the next question that we can look at is the fill in the blank type question. So this is one where you could maybe like label a tree. And so as the student, if I pull up the student, you can see that as a student, I have different blanks here that I can fill in. And if I click on text here at the bottom, that changes it to where I can click and type in text, and I can type in the text for that. Okay? So again, the teacher is going to be able to see in the dashboard, and I do apologize that everything went down on me, and I can't show you how that actually looks on that dashboard. There's also a multiple choice, and on the multiple choice, students can select their answer. So here's the question of how many students we have in the district. And so as the student, they can come in and they can select their answer in the student view. So it makes it very nice because it is interactive. And as you're going through your presentation, the students are getting the answer choices here with them. So another type of question, and we talked about this, was maybe something where you just want them to type in a number. And so on this one, we want to know for science how many hydrogen atoms are in a molecule of water. And so you'll notice that as the student, I have a blank here where I can type in my answer, and then I can see where that answer is on there. Okay? Let me go back. And another type of question that we might have is, I told you about the one where you can put in a link. So here's where I've put in a link for students to go to Vocabulary to work on maybe an assignment that they want. But notice in the student view, when they go, it automatically pulls up the page for them to log in. It makes it very nice because now they don't have to get out of PearDeck to go find it. They can actually go right here, log in, and go to the activity that I have for them in that vocabulary. Okay, so that's the website type of question. And then we have a drawing, and this is where they could draw a line from, the picture to where it is on the map. So as a student, here is my map, And I would come over and click on a pencil or a highlighter, either one. I'll go with a pencil. And so for ocean, maybe I want it to be a blue line. I'm just going to draw a line here using my pencil to that ocean. Or maybe I want it to be a straight line and I want my swamp. Let's say I'm going to use a brown to go to a swamp, and I know there's swamps over here somewhere in Louisiana. Now I can draw a straight line. So you have some options there. And then where would that forest be? So I'm going to draw green, and I'm going to draw, and I know down in here towards where the Amazon is, there's got to be some forest in there. So very easy for students to be able to draw that. And in the dashboard, if I could show you the dashboard, then you would be able to see exactly where the students have drawn their lines, okay? This is one that I really like, of course, because I'm an old math teacher, is, hey, let's all graph this coordinate, this dot on this coordinate plane. And I remember years ago putting tape on the desks and I'd have to walk around the room. Now, very quickly, we can do this together. So here I am as the student. I've been given a dot and I've got to drag this dot, and this is one of those draggables, to -2, 4. So I'm going to go to -2 and I'm going to go up to 4 and I'm going to put my dot there. And now when the teacher goes in to look, they're going to be able to see what that looks like on that dashboard. All right, and then finally we have where you can write. And in this one, students are going to be given a blank over here where they can type in their answer to the question. So this could be a reflection at the end of the class. It could be just where you want them to talk about what they already know about a lesson if you put it at the beginning of a lesson. So there's a lot of different applications for using the text slide with your students. And then, before we move on and we're going to look at how to create a presentation, I want to show you that something new PearDeck has added in, and I really like this, is you can now include audio. And so as a student, now when they go to their screen, notice in this bottom right-hand corner, there's a little set of headphones. And this is what it'll look like when the students first go in. If they click on the headphones, they get a little recording, and it can be you reading the information on the slide. So if you have this as a student-paced assignment and you want your kids to be able to go through this and have it read to them, because I know we have some kids that need that accessibility tool that's added in, then you can certainly go in and add that audio to any slide that you want to go to, okay? All right, so let's go to where, let me pull this up. Let's go in and let's look at how you are going to build your PearDeck. So let's go to your PearDeck. So you should have your Google slide opened up. And we've added the add-on. So now we're going to go right here to PearDeck and we're going to say open the PearDeck add-on. So we're going to open that add-on. It takes it just a minute and it's going to open up over here on the right-hand side. So now I'm able to do a lot of things from here. So we talked about the templates. So I want us right here at the top, you see that you have the template library. If you click this little arrow, this is going to open up and it's going to show you all the different templates that are there. Let's say you want one for the beginning of the lesson. The slides are already built. All you do is edit the content that's on that slide. So we're at the beginning of a lesson. Maybe we want this slide here. It's a drawing slide where they can either draw or they can type. And when I click on it, it takes it just a second. It's going to add that slide right into my presentation and I don't have to build it. Draw or type, two things you already know about today's topic. And if I want to change this, I can change it up. If I wanted to add more to this, notice that as the teacher, I can move these around if I need to. I can change them. I could put different numbers here. I could put different images, different pictures. But this gives the students then a chance to draw on this slide. If I look through these and I don't see any others I want to use, notice there's a back button right here at the top of the PearDeck toolbar. And now we can go into any of these others. And so during the lesson, there are all sorts of different types of questions here. They have multiple choice slides where it's a true false. They have draggables, drawing slides, instructional slides. You can go in and pick any one of these slides you want. And let's say we want a draggable. Once I click it, it puts it into the presentation. Now, once it's in the presentation, if you think, I really don't need that slide after all, you just right click and you just delete that slide and it just goes right back out. So you still have the same capabilities as you do in Google Slides. Notice that there's also learning development slides. So if you're wanting something on critical thinking, they've got some really nice slides here that already put some graphs or some things to consider, some neat little bubble slides where students are going to write what they wonder about what they're learning about that day, just making our kids think a little bit more. But like I was telling you earlier, the thing I really like that's been added in are all of these slides that go along with subject areas. So you can go in and find specific things that are going to be able to be used. For instance, for math. In math, we do use a lot of graphs. We may use images. We may need a number line. Different things that would be for math, and maybe some other subjects might be able to use some of those slides as well. In science, they have a slide for the periodic table, which is very nice to be able to add that in, and other slides where if I want to use one of these slides, I just pull the slide in, and if it's got an image on it, you'll notice that it says replace this image with anything that's relevant. So this is just a picture that they've added on the slide, but it's already set up so students can respond. All you do is replace the picture that is on that slide. So it's very simple to add those in. Very, very simple to add those in. Now, I want to see, I'm going to go back to my presentation, and I'm going to see if I can show you. I want to see if this will come up. So if I open this dashboard, I really wanted to show you this dashboard, and I don't think it's going to let me show it to you. Ah, there we go. All right, it's going to let me show it to you here. So I want to show you, this is the teacher dashboard, and this is where our students have gone in and put in answers. And I wanted to show you a little bit about how this works since we looked at this earlier and I couldn't get my side-by-side to work. So here, dragging dots, these are all different students. If I put the name over it, I see the student's name, but right now I have this on overlay. I can change this to where it's just a list and I can see what each individual student, where they have put their dot. And so this works on every slide as I go through, and I can have this teacher dashboard up on my device. I can have it up on my phone or an iPad, a separate device, or you could even have it on a separate screen so students cannot see it. This is the grid view so that I can see every student, but notice I can still come in and look at it one by one on here, okay? The multiple choice, same thing. I love that it shows me here the number of students when I do the overlay, but if I want to look at each one of those kids, it's going to show me what each student put as the option for their answer. So that way I can look overall or I can look individually. This one, if I look with the overlaid of all the students, it's going to put their answers on a number line. And it looks like all the students have put in the answer 2 so far. And so there you go. You can see every answer is 2 when I put that to grid view. On the drawing, again, it's going to show what each kid has drawn that has put in their information. And if I can look at grid view. You can go to the overlay. It makes it a little bit hard to read, but in some instances, like when I did the drawing of the grid, that was very nice, like this one. So if I go to the overlay, it's going to show me all the dots of where the kids have put their dots. Or again, I can look at each kid individually. So this is a very good way of looking at the information of the kids, and you can follow along with that as you're following along with the presentation and as the kids are inputting, so that you know right there on the spot, is this where we need to stop and spend a little bit more time, or no, my kids have this, we're going to be able to move on and go to the next slide. Okay? All right. Well, that is PearDeck, guys. We have gone through several things. We've looked at what it looks like to be a student. We've looked at how to add the slides in on your presentation. We've looked at what the teacher can see. And so just remember, there are many different ways you can use PearDeck. You're going to be able to find the way that works best for you. But it's a very easy application. Reach out to me or any of the innovation leaders will be more than happy to help you if you need it. Now, we're at the end of our presentation. I want you to remember we always have a drawing, and at the end of our presentation, we're going to give away 2 prizes. And so we've got the rocket beacons, we've got wireless keyboards, and we have the little clickers to take you through your presentations. And so what you need to do to get in for the drawing is go to the tiny URL there on the screen, or you can go to that QR code, and you're going to fill out a little Google form, and that lets us know that you were here, gives us a little feedback on our presentation, and then also allows you to say, which one of those prizes would you like? And so come back on Tuesday morning, and we will spin the spinner, and we will see who has won the prize for today. So again, thank you for joining in. Thank you for being with me as I muddled through. Sorry, everything disconnected and came back, but we made it through, so that's good. Again, a special thanks to Madeline Allegria and to Stephanie Crane. I really appreciate them coming in and showing you how they've used this in their classroom. So until next week, thank you very much.